This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Friday, December the 21st. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Police are currently on the scene of a fatal shooting of a man they identified as having the alias Nard at Marhill Street, the city. We will continue to update you on our website. Sanitation Authority workers will continue to be paid for overtime at least for the next 3 weekends. The arrangement was brokered today as Labour Minister Colin Jordan met with representatives from the National Union of Public Workers and the Board of the Sanitation Service Authority. Following an early morning meeting between the NUPW and workers, some employees emerged adamant that they were not willing to give up their current overtime arrangement. The SSA has proposed changing the current work week. Workers now work from Monday to Friday and are paid overtime for weekend work. The SSA is, however, proposing that the work week consists of any 5 days out of 7 days. Deputy General Secretary of the NUPW, Delcia Burke, says the workers will be paid for working over the next 3 weekends. However, a meeting is scheduled for January the 3rd to determine the way forward. In other news this Friday, Barbadians got word that the country will soon have its own National Botanical Garden. Prime Minister Mottley made the disclosure as she delivered the feature address at the opening of 11 play parks donated by the Maria Holder Memorial Trust this evening. She told the gathering that Barbados is more than buildings. It is a country that is determined to maintain a relationship with the environment.
Over the course of the last 10 days or so, I met with all of the landscape architects of Barbados for them to come up with a plan for the execution of the National Botanical Gardens, which must become a reality starting from this year. More than a decade ago, the government of Barbados sought to acquire the land and did nothing with it. And far from limiting it to the 250 acres where we have, Minister Prescott, we want to cross the road into your constituency as well, on the other side of the road in the Bell, and to be able to utilize as much of that land that is now run, I want to say to bush, but it got some river tamarind on it too. But that entire corridor has now to come alive, so that in the same way that people go to huge parks in North America and in Europe and enjoy themselves, as my uncle wrote a poem many years ago, Elombe, and it was called, Ain't We People Too? Ain't We People Too? It is about time that Barbadians be allowed to enjoy the majesty of the beauty of our country, but we have to put it in a condition for us to enjoy and for us to teach our children beauty and respect of the environment in which we live.
Mottley, who noted that climate change remains a serious threat for the island's future generations, urged Barbadians to take better care of their environment by cleaning up.
Until such time as we have cleaned up Barbados, we cannot simply be satisfied by the gains that we are making economically. This process of cleaning our country and beautifying our country again has to be one that engages not just the government, but each and every Barbadian. And we do it not for ourselves alone, but for these young children who are to follow. For we do it to give them example, apart from the protection of their public health.
The General Secretary of the Barbados Workers' Union has sought to put to rest concerns that the union is not fully representing the interests of its members. In the union's Christmas message, Senator Tony Moore says the BWU's mission to improve the quality of life for all has been tested rigorously, particularly as the public workers were sent home under the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan. She, however, assured that the union will stand with its affected members.
Difficulties, just like the darkness, is sometimes necessary for us to appreciate the light even more when we see it. Barbados, we will see the light, and the Barbados Workers' Union will endure the course with you, taking each difficult step when it can't be avoided, and paving a smoother pathway wherever it is possible for us to do so. Like our forebears, we will not seek an escape from the challenges, nor will we cower from our responsibility to serve you.
To sports news now, FIFA President Gianni Infantino still looks set to be re-elected unopposed with a pledge of 25 votes from Caribbean soccer federations. The Caribbean Football Union says its executive committee agreed unanimously to support Infantino for the June 5th vote in Paris. The CFU says all its members already provide individual letters of support. Infantino has promises from a majority of the 211 FIFA member federations. The deadline for a rival candidate to declare his hand is February the 5th. Infantino is seeking a first full 4-year mandate. The Swiss lawyer was elected on February 2016 to complete the 5th term of Sepp Blatter, who was banned by FIFA's Ethics Committee.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. St. Lucia's National Security Minister is calling on the law courts to crack the whip on criminals. Weighing in on rising gun crime, particularly in inner city communities, Senator Herman Guild Francis says leniency cannot be the order of the day. More in this report from HTS News Force.
A very forthright Minister of National Security, Senator Herman Guild Francis, says he is disappointed with the crime situation in St. Lucia and calls on the courts to do their part. He says far too often correct criminals with unresolved matters before the courts are being granted bail for other alleged offences.
So when you arrest a young man with a firearm and tomorrow he's back on the streets, and if you look at their repeat offenders, people say about there's no work and there's lack of housing and so on. Yes, all those things contribute. But there are people who have made up their mind that this is how they want to live their life. And no matter how much work you give them, no matter what you do, this is how they're going to live their life. And like I said, those persons who we are suspecting that are involved in all these shootings and killings are repeat offenders. Persons who have been previously arrested for a firearm offense, been bailed or convicted, and then they're back out there and they're doing the very, very, very same thing.
And on the international front, London's Gatwick Airport reopened today after a mystery saboteur wrought 36 hours of travel chaos for more than 100,000 Christmas travelers by using drones to play cat and mouse with police snipers and the army. The airport, however, briefly closed again this morning to investigate a new drone sighting, but was soon operating as normal. And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic weekend.